Date, a time that stirs up different emotion in me every year. Some years, it's excitement and the bustle of countless plans. Other years, it's quiet contemplation, seeking solace in peaceful spaces. Strangely enough, that is also when life seems to slow down, allowing me to find joy in the little things, like the rustling of zong leaves or the faint aroma of bánh chưng wafting from the kitchen. What about you? What does that mean to you? Is it the thrill of reuniting with family, the longing for someone special, or simply the slow, leisurely rhythm that only date can bring? While that evoke unique feelings for everyone, I think its greatest gift is the pause it offers, a moment to reflect on old stories, cherished memories, and the possibility that lie ahead. Today, I want to share with you stories of date, mine, yours, and all of ours. Welcome to A Moment of Real Time podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, this is a space where we explore genuine, simple, yet deeply meaningful moments in life. I'm Matthew, or Tuấn Quận Tròn, that's my nickname if you're listening to the Vietnamese version, and I'll be your host on this journey. In today's episode, we're sharing stories, emotions, that diverse perspectives about Tết, the most special holiday of the year for Vietnamese people. Whether you're busy preparing or simply seeking a moment of calm amidst a slower pace of Tết, I hope this podcast brings you truly meaningful moments. Tết has always held a special place in my heart, not as a reset button to erase and restore everything, but as an opportunity to close an old chapter and begin a new journey. It feels like standing at the crossroads between what was and what's to come, a chance to pause, reflect, and ask myself, how did I live this past year? What lessons did I take away from the hardships, the joys, and even the regrets? If you've listened to the first episode of this podcast, you might recall my reflections on looking back at the year gone by, a mix of nostalgia and gratitude. The achievements, the lessons learned from unfulfilled goals, all of it shapes the person I am today. Perhaps your year was like mine, filled with both shining moments and challenging days. But regardless, every experience contributes to the unique and beauty story of who we are. For me, the most cherished memories of Tết go beyond familiar sights and sounds like the crackling fireworks or the vibrant red blossoms of peach flowers. It's in moments like the first time I made bánh chưng with my family. I still vividly remember the feeling of touching the glossy green zong leaf, carefully layering the sticky rice, mung bean, and pork to perfection. Those clumsy attempts at tying the strings for the first time left me both embarrassed and amused. The laughter and chatter around the kitchen fire, mingling with the aroma of cooking rice and leaves, created a warmth that was both festive and comforting. In past years, I had only eagerly awaited the bánh chưng to finish cooking, but this time, contributing my effort to crafting each one made the experience profoundly different and meaningful. The atmosphere of Tết in Hanoi also depends this sense of ending and beginning. Streets adorned in gold and red hues, vendors selling peach blossoms and kumquat cheese, the faint scent of bánh chưng wafting from market stalls, and the distinctive chill of Hanoi at year's end. All of it seems to remind me that another year has passed and that I stand at the threshold of new possibilities. Thinking about Tết also brings back memories of the traditional firecrackers and fireworks that accompany the new year. As a child, the sharp crackling of firecrackers in the narrow alleys was an unfamiliar sound, an unforgettable fragment of my childhood that filled me with excitement whenever Tết approached. The scent of gunpowder in the air and the sight of red firecracker ribbons hanging in front of home became an indelible part of the holiday season. Nowadays, fireworks have replaced those traditional firecrackers. Watching the dazzling light display on New Year's Eve has become a sacred moment for me, a time to reflect, set aside my worries, and place my hopes in the year ahead. For me, Tết isn't just about reunions or celebrations. It's a precious pause to slow down and reconnect deeply with myself. The lessons of the past year, like learning that letting go can be a form of growth or discovering the transformative power of patience, become the treasures I carry into the new year. What about you? What did you learn over the past year? Is there anything you'd like to leave behind with the old year, or perhaps a hope you are nurturing for the year to come? Personally, I hope to keep a patient heart, live fully in each moment, and enjoy the journey instead of focusing solely on the destination. Date for each of us might mean excitement, family reunions, or simply a pause or reflection. But I believe that no matter where we are or how we celebrate, date always brings something special, new hopes, fresh perspectives, and renewed faith. Let's explore further together because date is not just a story of tradition, but a story of each of us and how we began a new year with our own unique dreams and aspirations. In my memories, date has always been about warmth and family. As a child, date brought some joys, the whole family coming together, preparing for the holiday. My mom would be busy cleaning every corner of the house, ensuring everything was pristine for the new year. My dad would carefully polish the family altar and arrange the fruit platter with care. As for me, I was the little kid, wandering around the kitchen, helping with small tasks and washing vegetables, wiping tables, or simply watching my mom slice meat and fry spring rolls, so on, the signature dishes for our date feast. At the time, those moments didn't feel particularly special, but as I grew older, I came to realize the immense value they held. Looking back now, they weren't just days of preparation for date, but also cherished memories of connection and love among family members. The laughter, the everyday story that seemed so ordinary then, have become an inseparable part of my heart. As times go by, my parents grow older, and I find myself caught up in the relentless pace of life. Work, studies, relationships, personal projects. These responsibilities often make me forget that family is the most peaceful sanctuary and the strongest pillar in my life. Each date, when I see the wrinkle deepening around my father's eyes, or the strange of gray multiplying in my mother's hair, I feel a pang of sorrow. Life may be busy, but nothing can replace the precious moments spent with loved one. Date for me now is no longer just about the excitement of receiving a red envelope or playing with siblings. It's a time to set aside everything, return home, and treasure every little moment. Date is when everyone gathers for the year-end meal, sharing stories about the past year, successes, joyful memories, or even the hardships each person has faced. Amid those conversations, I realized that family is not just a place to return to, but also a space where we find peace and unconditional love. I remember the time when I had plans to study abroad. It was a big dream I had nurtured for years, filled with hopes for new horizons and opportunities. Back then, I had to live away from home to prepare for that journey. During those days, date became the rare occasion when I could come home, to return to the embrace of my family after months of hard study. Sitting together at the family table during date became the thing I looked forward to most. Whenever I came back, my parents would make an effort to cook my favorite dishes, ensuring everything felt warm and welcoming. The cheerful banter of my parents, the teasing jokes of my siblings, or simply the quiet moments when we all sat together. It all made me feel deeply loved. Sometimes I think it's these simple things that make date so sacred. But life doesn't always go as planned. My dream of studying abroad didn't come true. For various reasons, that chapter remained unfinished. It left me feeling empty and filled with regret. I often ask myself, if things has gone as planned, would my life be different now? But after dwelling on it for a while, I realized that even though I couldn't achieve that dream, the most important thing was the present. As life becomes busier, we often forget the simple joys of a family meal, an afternoon stroll with our parents, or just sitting together watching a date program on TV. Yet, it's these little things that give date its profound meaning. They remind me that amidst an unending flow of life, family is the one constant, a place always waiting for us to return. I recall one time when my mom asked me and my sister, "What do you want to eat this date?" That simple question moved me deeply. She wasn't asking about elaborate dishes, she just wanted to know what we like so she could prepare it for us when we came home. And I realized that love from parents doesn't always need to be spoken. It's often found in the smallest gestures. Date is a time to reflect, not to dwell on regrets, but to understand that every twist and turn in life has its own meaning. I no longer dwell on unfulfilled dreams, but focus instead on appreciating what I have, especially my family. During date, as I sit with my parents, sharing new plans, joys, and even struggles, I feel their unwavering support and love. It's this feeling that gave me strength to move forward, even if path I'm walking in isn't the one I originally envisioned. Nowadays, when death comes, I no longer fixate on what I haven't achieved. Instead, I feel gratitude for being here, surrounded by those who love me the most. That isn't just about reflection. It's a time to truly feel the value of presence and cherish the precious moments life offers. Have you ever felt regret over an unfulfilled dream? If so, perhaps try setting those feelings aside for now and focus on what you have. Because no matter how uncertain the future may be, family will always be the place where you find peace and the strength to keep going. As a child, that was always a season of excitement and newness for me. I remember the days leading up to the Lunar New Year when my mother would take me to the date market, where the clothing stores were always vibrant color. Back then, picking out a new outfit to wear on the first day of the new year was an incomparable joy. Bright red and golden outside, or brand new shoes with the scent of fresh leather felt like a promise of fresh start, filled with brightness and good fortune. Wearing new clothes during date wasn't just about looking good. It symbolized change, renewal, and greater blessings. Those new outfits were like a way of putting on a refreshed spirit, ready to embrace all the good things the upcoming year had to offer. It was also the time when I would proudly show off my new clothes to friends, carrying with me not only the new garments, but also the childlike sense of pride. It was also the season of endless sweeping brooms, wiping clothes, and mountain of cleaning chores. In the days leading up to date, the whole family would be busy tidying up every nook and cranny, from the kitchen cabinets to under the bed, place often neglected throughout the year. My mother always said, "A clean house brings happiness to date and good luck for the new year." And so we would embark on the mission to renovate the house, leaving no corner untouched. Those days were filled with a mix of hustle and excitement. There were times I unearthed piles of old belongings I had completely forgotten about, a faded shirt, a single slipper, or a book I had promised to read but never got past the first few pages. Those items felt like symbols of outdated and unnecessary things that had been weighing down my life. Finally, when everything in the house was spotless to the point where you could almost see your reflection on the floors, I would joke, "Now the only dirty things left in the house is me." The burst of laughter that followed would wash away all the fatigue. That's when I realized that this process of cleaning wasn't just about refreshing the house, but also about renewing the soul. As I grew older, I came to understand that it wasn't about wearing new clothes or having a spotless house. It was about preparing our hearts and minds for the new year. New clothes were merely symbols, but a renewed spirit, filled with gratitude, hope, and determination, was what truly mattered. Cleaning the house, aside from its traditional meaning, became a valuable lesson. To let go of the old, unnecessary burdens and make room for the new and meaningful. Nowadays, I no longer feel the same eagerness to shop for clothes as I did when I was little. Yet, I still find joy in simple act of preparing for the new year. I feel quiet happiness when I see the house looking bright and tidy, reminding myself that not only the house but also my heart needs cleaning. Letting go of worries, forgiving unfinished matters, and leaving space for better things to come. That, with its new clothes and clean spaces, is a gentle reminder of renewal and hope. Sometimes, even a small change, like tidying up a desk or putting on a simple, comfortable outfit, can be enough to bring a sense of freshness to the soul. What are your plans this year to clean up the old and welcome to the new? Perhaps what we truly need is to declutter our hearts and make space for the blessings that God had prepared for us. I must admit that in adulthood brings completely different set of emotions compared to the carefree days of childhood. As a kid, every day was a countdown filled with excitement, eagerly anticipating red envelopes, wearing new clothes, and playing to my heart's content without a worry in the world. But as time goes by, and we grow older, death is no longer a simple, carefree holiday. It gradually becomes a time filled with more complex emotions. In adulthood, alongside the joy of family reunions, death also comes with invincible pressures from the familiar but sometimes difficult questions. When will you get married? How's your bonus this year? To balancing finances for gifts, red envelopes, and countless other unnamed expenses. There are moments when it feels like death is no longer a time to relax but rather a task that needs to be completed. Then I realized that growing up doesn't just make death different, it also brings a new perspective. As a child, I only thought about receiving, but as an adult, the joy now lies in giving. It's the happiness of personal selecting meaningful gifts for my parents, handing out red envelopes to the children with cheerful blessings, or seeing the radiant smiles of loved ones as the family gathers around the year-end feast. Of course, death in adulthood also comes with new responsibilities. I am no longer just the one waiting for my parents to take care of everything. Now, I am the one helping them decorate the house, prepare the feast, or even take a task I never imagined doing before. Strangely enough, these responsibilities make me appreciate the essence of death even more. Not in extravagant, but in family bonds, sharing, and gratitude. Sometimes I miss the date of my childhood, the beautiful memories of chasing lion dance troops, eagerly lighting firecrackers with my siblings, or savoring the aroma of bangchung cooking over smoking fires. Every time I look back, I cherish those moments and remind myself that no matter how much I grow, I still want to keep a piece of that excitement and innocent life. Handle the expectations from family and societal pressures. I've learned to set boundaries to focus on what truly matters. That doesn't have to be perfect in everyone's eyes. It just needs to bring peace to my own heart. Sometimes I decline packed schedules and instead choosing to spend time at home reading a book, admiring beach blossoms, or simply relaxing with a cup of tea. Perhaps death in adulthood is no longer dazzling as it was in childhood, but it carries a different kind of beauty, deeper and more mature. It's when you learn to appreciate the value of family reunions, find joy in caring for loved ones, and most importantly, take time to reconnect with yourself. What about you? How has death changed for you as you've grown older? And in this first day of the year, will you choose to stay busy pleasing others, or will you take the time to find peace within yourself? Every day I have the chance to return to visit my grandmother in her countryside home, a place where she was born and raised. The small house in the peaceful village always comes to mind with familiar images. The mossy brick yard, the lush vegetable garden under the shade of the tall trees, and most vividly, my grandmother's warm smile welcoming us home. She often sits by her teapot, recounting tales of death from her youth, a time when things were simpler, yet filled with boundless joy. She reminisced about how, in those days, They didn't come with lavish feast or beautiful new clothes as it does now. Yet the excitement of the entire village gathering to wrap bánh chưng, the late nights by the flickering fire keeping watch over the boiled pot, and the cheers of children chasing lion dancer throughout the village brought a sense of happiness that washed away the year's weariness. She would say, "Date isn't about grand meals or extravagance. It's about togetherness, laughter, and the simple joy of being with loved ones." I recall my childhood trips to the countryside where the atmosphere was a stark contrast to the bustling modernity of the city. The village felt like a different world, one where it retained its simplicity and intimacy. Sitting by my grandmother, listening to her stories, feels like stepping into a beautiful memory. It was then and I understood the values she held onto were not just traditions but also a part of our identity and roots. Now, as a Christian, my perspective on death has shifted in certain ways. My grandmother's stories of togetherness and simple joys have deepened my appreciation for the significance of family during the new year. In the past, death for me was intertwined with rituals and offerings meant to bring blessings for the year ahead. However, I now choose to express gratitude to God and pray for my family instead. For me, God is the source of all goodness, and every day of life is a gift of grace. Death, therefore, become a special time for reflect on the past year, be thankful for blessings, and entrust the coming year's plans to Him. From my faith, I've learned the value of love and forgiveness, qualities my grandmother lived out and passed on through her life. Her stories are more than memories. They are reminders that no matter how traditions evolve, perspective shifts, family love remains the most enduring foundation. While my faith journey has led to some changes in how I view death, I still deeply value the traditions my grandmother shared. The customs of the past were not merely rituals, but a way for Vietnamese people to show gratitude to their ancestors and strengthen familiar and communal bonds. As a Christian, I no longer observe this custom in the old way, but I hold on the spirit, love, respect, and gratitude. Every time I hear my grandmother's stories, I feel fortunate to live at the intersection of tradition and faith. That is not only a time to reflect on one's roots, but also an opportunity to reconnect with family, God, oneself. The beautiful values from the past, combined with the faith of the present, become the guiding light for me as I step into a new year. One thing I've realized is that that is not only a time for family, but also a precious opportunity to reconnect with oneself. Over the past year, I've worked hard, chased gold, and meet expectations of others. At times, I forgot to pause, listen to myself, and ask, what do I truly want? What do I need to be happier? So this year, I've decided to make date is a time to slow down. No grand plans for long to-do lists, just a peaceful morning with a cup of coffee, a journal, and some reflective writing. It's a moment to ask myself, what brought me joy in the past year? What should I let go of? And what I do hope for in the year to come. That is an opportunity to recharge after a challenging year. For me, rest is more than sleeping in or relaxing. It's a way to heal from the stress and fatigue of life. Sometimes, a quiet afternoon walking under leafy trees or an evening cooled up with a good book is enough to restore my spirit. Another practice I want to embrace this date is gratitude, thanking God for the grace of the past year, for the protection and guidance during hard days, and for the blessings of my family and supportive friends. I also want to thank myself for not giving up and for striving to grow each day. Death in adulthood may not be about simple childhood wishes anymore, but it had brought new meaning. A time to care for your soul, to love myself, and to start the year with a peaceful heart. I hope you too will take a moment for yourself this day to rest and ask yourself honest questions and prepare for a new journey filled with hope and joy. Thank you for spending time with me and joining in these reflections. People often wish each other a happy new year, but I want to offer you a slightly different wish. If there are days when you don't feel happy, allow yourself to rest. If you ever feel weary, remember that you can always start again, slowly, gently. May you find peace in your own world, always have choices, and always have a place to come home to. And I'm still wondering, what will you do this date? Are there any special memories or meaningful stories you'd like to share? I'd love to hear how you feel. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, or reach out to me on social media. If this podcast brought you a little inspiration, joy, or connection, don't forget to share it with those you cared about. And if you'd like to continue explore interesting topics with me, follow the channel so you won't miss the next episode. Wishing you a new year filled with hope, a meaningful year, and peace in every moment. See you in the story to come.